Welcome to the Fantasy Wise Guys. We are back. Here we are, Mike Meals.
Joey Puma.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us. We need you. We want to hear more.
Yes.
We've been getting a lot of start-sit questions.
Absolutely.
Shit's getting a little wild.
The inbox is getting flooded, or the DMs.
The DMs, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in our DMs. I swear it's not ladies. To my wife, don't you worry.
I cannot promise anything.
Well, regardless, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of upcoming trending news, things we really got to get into fantasy-wise. How are your teams doing, by the way?
So right now I'm in 4 leagues, and in our league I'm 3-2.
Yeah.
Another one of my big leagues, I'm 4-1. Had a great night last night. We'll get into that. 3-2 and 2-3.
Yeah. So I'm in 5, 4 official, 1 unofficial. Well, 3 of them I'm 4-1, and then our league I'm 2-3 ish, and then I'm 2-3 in another league too, where I lost neighbors. You took a major hit in our league.
Yeah.
Puma lost significant
as returning
value.
champ ×2.
Malik Neighbors down, out for a year. Bucky Irving, couple weeks. Omari on Hampton, IR.
Yeah.
I mean, but Puma, you can see how he's assembled his lineup in lieu of all these absences.
Yeah, it's basically, when you have absences like that, Len's going to put my squad on the camera for you guys. When you're decimated like that, what you want to go for is big boom potential. Going
Definitely.
forward for the next 2-ish weeks, I'm probably going to be the underdog in most of these matchups. But like yourselves out there, you're never out of it any given Sunday or any given Thursday. So, you always are in it. You just have to look out for those boom potential and matchup potential players that you could put in your lineup.
I think at that point, if you have that many injuries, you definitely want to pull whatever thing that you got out of your bag of tricks.
Yeah.
Especially in a case like you saw that Puma basically stacked the Bryce Young and Leggett, which is like any right person would be like, why would somebody do that? But they're playing Dallas. It's a matchup.
Right.
He's a major underdog. This is a potential for a nice deep shot, maybe.
What screamed out to me is, their best receiver, Tet McMillan, they're not good on defense anyway, the Dallas Cowboys. So, they're probably going to roll that coverage to Tet. And maybe Leggett could give me one of those 3-touchdown Romeo Doubs days.
Yeah.
Right? And if he does that with the connection of Bryce Young, all right, now you're talking about 60 points in a matter of 1 game of a connection. So, you try to capitalize on potential boom plays like that.
And I'm sure so many people are in similar predicaments because of the injuries right now.
But I will say, don't give up.
Don't give up. Keep looking for people. Stay active on the waiver wire, please, because there's been gems every week. We've been seeing them. We've talked about them.
Yeah.
But let's get into it. Now, last night, one of the best games of the season so far. I got to say, arguably, the best game in terms of aura, as you youngins like to say.
Yeah.
Thursday Night Football, the Giants and the Eagles. The Giants, big upset, 34-17 win. Cam Skattebo and Jaxson Dart really making a name for themselves.
Dog!
Unbelievable, man. I mean, how were you watching it? Like actually seeing Cam Skattebo on screen dominate the way he was. The kid is like a superstar right now.
I think
hottest in the league.
If I was a football player, I'd be Cam Skattebo.
Everyone says that, right? You want to be him.
Because he embodies of us that want to be out there. And, he's got his hard hat, lunch pail, and he's ready to go to work.
Yeah.
And he's going to fight for every yard possible. I like to say him and Baker Mayfield are so similar in the way they play the game, the intensity. And SkatteBOOM went off last night. 3 touchdowns, 98 yards. I mean, he looked fabulous. He looks like RB1 locked and loaded for the New York Giants.
Yeah, I mean, Cam Skattebo, despite Tyrone Tracy coming back, is clearly the RB1. And like Puma said, 19 carries, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. Even Saquon Barkley hasn't had 3 touchdowns in his career. 3 rushing touchdowns.
Right, all purpose, yes.
Yes, I'm saying specifically rushing
touchdowns. Cam Skattebo leads him. And Cam even looked better than Saquon. I guess the Madden curse is catching up, as I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, you know what? And honestly, I feel like the Denver Broncos clearly kind of like put out the game plan. They basically, what's the word I'm looking for? They
Blueprint.
They showed the blueprint
Right.
on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
The Denver Broncos showed the blueprint of them last week when they beat them like that.
Yeah.
Everybody now knows kind of what to expect and how to limit Saquon's rushing game.
Yeah, no, especially someone who shined for me who has not even been brought up, Brian Burns. This guy was coming off the edge. He looked like an animal. He must have followed Nick Bonito from the week before because every time you saw Brian Burns, Spider-Man, in the backfield, he looked like a stud. I mean, Giants defense wasn't a bad play last night. Probably all 3% of people played that in America. But the Giants looked spectacular. Offense, defense, you name it. They looked good. And our friend Cam Skattebo led the way.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of notable games last night or players that played. You had Cam Skattebo. He had 32 PPR points. Dallas Goedert.
Dallas
26 full PPR points.
Yeah, he did well.
9 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown.
I needed A.J. Brown for an anytime touchdown because he's usually career-wise a giant killer. And it just looks like Jalen Hurts looks off a little bit. It looks like a team that's tired.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, I guess you could say, fantasy, they a lot of good production. But yeah, overall football, I don't know. The Eagles look like they're in trouble. Offensively,
they do
especially.
A little bit. They do.
And if your defense is down and the rushing game is down, how can the Eagles be as productive as they were last year?
Well, on the telecast, Landon Dickerson, one of their all-pro, left tackles, guards, was out, and that's a big loss. They lost Mekhi Becton in free agency. They're down a couple of.
And Jalen Carter didn't play last night.
Right, they were down a couple of dudes, and you saw it showed. And as much as we want to give Saquon the highlight, Jalen Hurts the highlight, but the centerpiece of that team is their trenches. What beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Their front seven, on the defensive side. And what potentially won all those games was their offensive line doing the tush push. It takes a lot out of a team and an offensive line repetitively doing the tush push, and you could just see some of that wear and tear on them last night.
Yeah, man, and I think now it's starting to show. They're definitely tired. They're a little banged up. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, I mean, at this point, you have every right to bench them, especially Devonta Smith, just because
Sleeping with the fishes.
Even in the game script like yesterday where you have to be dependent on throwing the ball, Jalen Hurts was missing targets left and right, misreading the defense, threw a pick 6, and most importantly, no touchdowns to those two studs. Devonta Smith, 4 catches, 49 yards, and then you had A.J. Brown with the 6 catches, 80 yards. Not bad, but when you draft a guy in the 2nd round or the 5th round, you're hoping for some touchdown equity. We're not seeing it. Looks like these 2 wide receivers are bench-worthy at this point until proven otherwise.
Yeah, no, Mike, I mean, again, with the Eagles wide receiver corps, if your name is not Hurts or Saquon Barkley, everyone is matchup-based for right now. Especially if you're a team that is in dire need of wins. If you're sitting there 4-1, 5-1, 5-0, okay, fine. You could mess around a little bit. But if you're sitting there and you're, like you said, one of your teams 2-3, right? Or at the end of this week you're going to be 3-3 or 1-4. You need wins and you need them now. So I'd play the matchup game for sure.
Yeah, and on the Giants side, I mean, Jaxson Dart right now, a lot of people dropped him last week, but it was only his 2nd game. And now we've seen 2 of 3 games productive, 1 against the Chargers, 2nd against the Saints, not too hot, they lost, and then 3rd against the Eagles. It almost seems like these real dominant teams are the ones that Dart is rising to the occasion and playing his ass off. Regardless, to me, Jaxson Dart is a good start. Jaxson Dart is a good start. No, seriously, he's a good start. He's not a bad one.
Mike, going back to your Eagle point of starters, the next 3 games, I mean, they're playing Minnesota, 32 ranked against wide receivers. They're the best against wideouts. And then you're back at the Giants again in Lincoln Financial. So those are the matchups coming up. I would not play any wide receivers of the Eagles next week, but the week after, I'd probably hit it again with the Giants.
Yeah, I mean,
Going back to your Dart part, Dart with the rushing capability, oh my God, unbelievable.
He's gonna get hurt at some point, but listen, I'm gonna ride him till the wheels fall off.
I don't know about
he's
that.
gonna stick his head out.
You know, he needs to learn how to slide a little better.
He does. And
Mark Sanchez had that problem.
He's sticking his head out at defenders too, as if he's Jerome Bettis. This guy. Like,
it's rookie stuff.
Yeah,
you can't be all perfect.
But regardless, him and Cam Skattebo, despite any questioning of their ranking and who the backups are, obviously there's Tyrone Tracy, there's Russell Wilson. Regardless, the aura of this team is higher with Jaxson Dart and Cam Skattebo. And because of that alone, these two are going to remain the starters. I don't know what's going to happen to Tyrone Tracy. I don't know what happened to Russ, Jameis Winston. But I think those two players you can rely on the rest of the season. And someone like Tyrone Tracy, I mean, maybe hold him another week, but he might be droppable.
No, right now in one of my leagues, I was going to pick him up just because he was cleared. But again, for me, he's on the wire. Until otherwise, God forbid a Skattebo injury or anything like that. But again, would you really want the Giants backfield if it's not named Skattebo?
And Skattebo played like 85% of snaps yesterday.
Yeah, so that's very important. We have fun with Skattebo, but he's productive. And this is the best game of his career, of both their careers, and only sky's the limit from here. I think his attitude and his tenacity, I think, the Giants are in good hands.
Yeah.
I don't know about next week. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Put the cart before the horse. But as far as last night, they did very good, and, they had a great game.
After last night, I have all the confidence going forward. And they were one of those shaky backfields that we were talking about at the beginning, because we didn't know. Is it going to be Cam? Is it going to be Tyrone Tracy? That settles it. It's Cam Skattebo's backfield. Now, some other shaky backfields. We wanted to talk about this because it's very important right now in fantasy regarding, starters. Who do you might have had recently? James Connors went down. Trey Benson following him went down. We also had Najee Harris earlier in the season, and now Emari on Hampton's down. On top of that, you had Bucky Irving, tons of running back injuries. So let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals backfield. This was huge news. Mr. Michael Carter and Emari Demercado. Demercado is still in the dog. You picked him up, by the way. This guy, dropped Demercado.
This is how desperate I am.
And he picks him up, and I'm like, and that's when it hits you, when Puma picks him up, you're like, damn, like, he might be on to something, As you start getting nervous, sweating. I start looking at my other leagues. Is he still available? But, look, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I am guaranteeing on this show Demercado gets a touchdown. I'm just saying.
That's like, what do they call that? It's like, I guess he's almost giving him like a gift, like a bonus touchdown.
I think it's like I think it's a redemption touchdown because Gannon. What happened was, for viewers out there that didn't know, Demercado was going in for a touchdown. Could have put the Arizona Cardinals up, I think, by 3 scores at the time, and he starts to celebrate before even crossing the end zone, drops the ball. And it counts as a touchback. And when you drop the ball and do not finish into the end zone, it's a touchback for the other team. And you give up the possession, and the Cardinals lose the points. If you had them in fantasy, you lose the points. It was a terrible scene. So John Gannon, the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, yelling, screaming at him. And then I guess high emotions took place, and he, they say he punched him. I think he slapped his
kind of
arm.
Like he slapped his chest in the shoulder pads. Demercado barely flinched. Like, relax, man. But look, they have a reason to find him. I think any little chance that they can to save some money. But in that case, like you said, maybe he owes him a little one. And honestly, to me, Michael Carter, he is definitely the starter.
He is the lead back.
Michael Carter is the starter, lead back.
He's the lead back.
For sure. But was he even that efficient last week? He might have had 18.3 fantasy points in full PPR, but only averaged 2.8 yards per carry, 18 touches, 51 yards. He had a tutty, but also 5 targets, 5 receptions. He was getting work in the passing game, which I expected Demercado to get some. But like I said, he wasn't all that efficient. And then Mr. Demercado comes in, explosive 72-yard touchdown, blows it, but the explosion was there. That to me is where I'm like, sure, Michael Carter, I'm going to start him probably before Demercado, but don't be surprised if if Demercado gets enough work where Michael Carter's not seeing these same, points per game.
No, you could tell Demercado is talented. He is in the league for a reason. He just had a bonehead play. But as you mentioned, Michael Carter's efficiency isn't too well right now. And I think they're just trying to find out what works best for them. I will say Kyler Murray does have an injury designation.
Yeah.
They did have him practice today, but limited. So be on the lookout for that, because if Kyler Murray doesn't play, the Cardinals use their running backs a lot in that system, and especially without a running quarterback, Jacoby Brissett is the backup. It would be a lot of handoffs to Michael Carter.
Yeah, so you could probably see a couple of dump-offs still.
Brissett. So,
totally
I know this sounds crazy, but I think both Cardinal running backs are in play here. I think both of them score this week.
One is a pretty confident Michael Carter, but Emari is kind of a shaky.
He's a dart throw.
A dart throw, yeah. But you've seen him in the past have these big fantasy games where, of course, he was on waivers because nobody had him, right. But he catches a couple passes, scores a couple touchdowns. I mean, he scored a touchdown just the other week, right before Stevenson got hurt against the Seahawks, right?
You know what I'm smelling?
What?
An almost upset Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona Cardinals, who do they got, though, this week?
They're in Indianapolis against the Colts, over. They're by 9.5 points.
Plus 9.5 now. I was saying +7.
Yeah,
I think the Colts are going to run all over them.
Hey, listen. That's fine, too.
The Colts are just so hot right now. Like, I don't know.
I get it. I just feel that stuff like that happens to a team, and they rally around. Let's see.
And it's home in Indy.
Yeah, listen, odds are against them, and you wouldn't be wrong to be on the Colts side. But that's why it's an almost upset.
Yeah, I know, and I honestly, I'm really curious to see how that plays out. And I'm hoping Kyler Murray, he has to be there in order for the almost upset. That's for sure. Now, next backfield, the LA Chargers. So Emari on Hampton, we already know, is placed on IR. Will miss a minimum 4 weeks. I'm gonna guess 4 to 5 weeks, maybe 5. So this week, the internet was going wild for Hassan, Haskins, and Kimani Vidal.
Rightfully so for Haskins. A lot of people don't realize Haskins played for Harbaugh in Michigan when he was there. Big back, but he is not the pass catcher of this backfield. Mike, in our league, I picked up Kimani Vidal, and which I like a little bit better, just because the Chargers line is trash right now. They're having a hard time running the ball. You notice Harbaugh is putting it in the hands of Justin Herbert. So I feel like Vidal coming out of that backfield is a great little satellite back, as a safety net. Also, too, Hassan Haskins is the guy to have on first and second down.
Oh, yeah.
But for right now, we discussed this, and you were going through this decision yourself. I said if you don't have to play them, don't play them, because we need to see how they're utilized.
Yeah.
Right? It's a great matchup. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Miami, I was going to say the Marlins. The Dolphins, are 29th against the run. I mean, that is third or fourth to last, against the run. So, I mean, it is a matchup that you want to play. But don't be deceived. We still have to see how they will be utilized. But if you have to play one, I'm personally leaning on the Vidal side.
Yeah, and you're right, because Vidal, he is the younger player technically. He is the healthier player. Haskins did have that injury 2 years ago when he left Tennessee, basically. Yeah. But he's trusted by Harbaugh, but I feel like even if Kimani's smaller, he's just more explosive. He's going to get those. Haskins not that good.
Vidal gives me Darren Sproles vibes.
Yes, definitely.
And
little small guy running
around. Haskins, I don't really have a comp for him. But if he was that good, this team wouldn't have signed Najee Harris.
I was going to say, he's basically like Gus Edwards.
Yeah, and they signed Gus Edwards to the practice squad.
He did? He
he was on the street. So they haven't promoted him yet. But
he will.
yeah, I think that them having Gus Edwards, can be a move going forward.
Wow, I didn't even realize. That's insane, man. I mean, look, that's a weird backfield, and I feel like it's not going to be.
It's not something I want to. It's
think.
not something you voluntarily want to be a part of, but it's great to have on your bench.
Definitely.
Bye weeks are fast and furious. They're coming. The bye-apocalypse is coming soon. What that means is you're going to have 5 or 6 teams that hit the bye, and you're going to need fillers. Hampton's not coming back, like Mike said, for another 5 weeks. So these guys are going to be the fillers unless they make a trade for a Breece Hall or an Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I mean that's really it. Like, and at this point, every week you should be putting people onto your bench, waiver claims, find somebody who's trash and disposable, pick somebody else up, somebody trending in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another backfield. I mean, we're bugging out about the New England Patriots. TreVeyon Henderson was so much more promising at the beginning of the season.
Dude, what does this guy got to do to get in?
Dude, and you see Rhamondre clearly is still so trusted by that team, and like they're loved. I remember seeing the videos in the offseason of him like out on vacation with Drake May and these guys, throwing balls on the jet skis.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of camaraderie there, and he's a big part of the team.
Well, Vrabel's a big veteran guy.
Yeah.
He likes to do the veterans. I'm not saying that. That's a meme waiting. I'm not saying that he doesn't like TreVeyon Henderson. I think TreVeyon Henderson just has to work his way in. A lot of times what's not being mentioned is like, maybe he's a rookie. Maybe he doesn't know the plays as much. There was a reason why Antonio Gibson was getting more run than him, before the injury. So this is stuff that we do not know as the fantasy public. We just know, general knowledge and what we can suggest. But for me, right now, you cannot cut this man. And I don't think you could trade him because you're literally not getting what his value is.
Oh, no, for sure. And that is spam. I could see that. Unbelievable, the spam going on.
Yeah, really.
I see the crazy numbers. You see it happening everywhere.
I thought somebody was calling in for a start sit.
They probably are. I should have been like, how you doing?
How you doing?
You're live on the show. Now, the other thing, like you said before, man, TreVeyon now, he has a little bit of a clearer path to RB1 at some point because RB1 for New England. But the only reason is Antonio Gibson just went down. He's out for season. Rhamondre Stevenson is one more fumble away from taking a little bit less, a snap percentage. But right now it's like 60-40. I mean, and Rhamondre hasn't been all that hot. He's only had 2 games above 14 points, 14.7 and 21.2. And the other 3 games in full PPR, 5.1, 4.6, 4.7. And these were against pretty easy teams like Carolina, Las Vegas. I mean, to me, Rhamondre Stevenson, he's not the explosive guy, but you can expect that he's going to have touches as long as he's there and healthy and not fumbling the ball. Like, it's going to be a committee.
Yeah, that's someone who I could see definitely. I see both of them scoring this weekend in New Orleans.
Oh, me too.
Just because I feel like it's a game that could get out of hand, and I feel like the Patriots are going to go in there and steamroll them after having that Sunday night big win against the Bills. There are a lot of upsets lately. I love it. I love the parody,
Yeah, because I guess this team, who'd they beat?
The Bills.
The Bills, yeah, the Bills.
On Sunday in Buffalo.
I love Drake May. He didn't even score a touchdown in that game, but you see that he was like commanding the offense and really just did.
I just gotta say something. Remember when Thursday night games would be like the crappiest play of the week?
Yeah.
It'd be like Carolina against the Bears.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, oh my God. You know what it is? They started putting more divisional matchups. If you notice, every week's a divisional matchup. Last week was the 49ers, Rams.
I think in the beginning, NFL was giving them scrap games, and at some point, some big guy up at Amazon said, listen, you see how much we're getting, you guys, views? Yeah. If you want, with all the advertiser money, whatever they got going on, they said, we need better,
something better.
We need better games. And I don't blame them. Because in the end, as annoying as it is, they have like to go on Amazon Prime, especially if you're watching something on standard cable. I can't just switch back and forth, you know?
When the Yanks were in it. Jaxson Dart's the only savior of New York. Him and SkatteBOOM.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, don't be alarmed with some of these backfields. If you at least have somebody there,
right.
Any of these guys that we mentioned, don't drop any of them. Kimani, Vidal, Hassan, Haskins, Rhamondre, obviously don't drop him. TreVeyon, obviously don't drop him. And even Michael Carter and Emari Demercado, maybe you don't have to drop him. Puma picked him up. It was not a bad pickup. Like, you never know.
You know what? I might be starting him.
And like Puma says, he likes the sale aisle.
Oh, yeah, baby. Nothing gets more sale than Bryce Young and Xavier.
And now a couple other guys that are a little on sale right now. We wanted to talk about other buy low candidates, but one mainly who I'm big on. If you have the chance to purchase this man, make a trade, make a deal. Rashee Rice is coming back week 7. I feel like he's going to be a league winner. He's healthy and hungry. What do you think?
I think that's a great point, Mike. I think that with the Xavier Worthy injury, keep popping up. Tyrone Thornton has done really well for them in Rashee Rice's absence. But Rashee Rice comes in. He's the clear number 1 of this Kansas City wide receiver core. So for me right now, this is probably the cheapest you'll get him.
Yeah,
because once he comes back, they're going to start popping off, and you're not going to be able to get him because the price is going to be so high.
And Xavier Worthy is a little banged up right now. Mahomes is super hot. This was one of actually our bold predictions. That was right.
You called that one.
We'll talk about more later because I feel like we have a lot that I was going through. I was looking at Tyreek Hill or your Jalen Waddle thing, like so many things. But anyway, back to Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice, last year, we already saw him his rookie year 2 years ago, 2023. Took a lot of people to the fantasy championship. He was picked up off of waivers, basically. And then last year, he started the year off before he got injured, out for the year. First 3 games, 17.3 points, 18.5 points, and 29.1 points at full PPR. So, I mean, one of those games, he had 14 targets. Rashee Rice is a clear alpha, and you're going to see a lot more of that this year, especially being the fact that he's not coming back from injury right now. He was already playing in training camp, and they said he looked great. You saw videos. He's coming back now just from suspension, so he's coming in fully healthy. He's a plug and play. So would you trade? Like, who would you trade for him? Like, what's your limit of somebody you would trade for him?
I could definitely.
Like, would you trade Drake London for him?
Yeah.
Would you trade like a
just because of
Teteroa McMillan for him?
Penix is like so uncertain sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
So I could trust Mahomes more. Teteroa McMillan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And honestly, I don't think the Rashee manager does either one of those. Would you trade AJ Brown for Rashee? Of course you would.
Of course. Come on.
And honestly, the Rashee Rice manager still won't. So let's think.
What I would do? You know what I would do out there?
What about Rome Odunze?
No, Rome I'm keeping.
You would keep Rome
over Rashee
Rice.
Over Rashee Rice. This is a good one. If you're out there and the person that has Rashee Rice, right, is not doing well, or, if this person is 5-1, 4-1, don't even bother. If they are 3-3 or 2-4, right, after this week, you go to them. They might have some running back problems. If you have one of these 3 guys, this is who I want you to trade for Rashee Rice. Derrick Henry is a big option that you could trade for Rashee Rice. Hey, look, Mike, you need a running back. This wide receiver on your bench hasn't even played. I need a wide receiver. I'm lacking at that. I have 3 running backs. That's a deal I could see get done 1 for 1.
I think it's a fair trade,
and I think it's a fair trade. I mean, without Lamar Jackson, who knows when he's coming back. Derrick Henry's numbers have been dipping, but like we always say, the scarcity of the position, it boosts people up. So that's a very fair trade. Another one is Saquon Barkley. We just spoke about this. I wouldn't do Saquon 1 for 1, but if you say to the Rashee Rice manager, hey, look,
a package deal.
A package deal. I'll take Bill and Rashee Rice, something of that for Saquon Barkley. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
2 for 1.
I think it's fair too.
Yeah,
If you're a Rashee Rice manager, though, you gotta almost educate, or if you have Saquon, you have to almost educate on both people are in a buy low opportunity.
Right. You do not want to. This is why you have to make this move
you
now.
gotta sell it a little bit.
Yeah. You gotta do your best selling, impersonation.
But could it be a gamble for you also with not seeing Rashee Rice in a single
Absolutely.
game this season?
Anytime you cross the white line, it's a gamble. So you're taking something that's pretty much sure, right? Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and you're trading it for something that we don't know will come to fruition. We feel great about it. He has the same quarterback, all that other stuff. But you have, in order to win in fantasy football, you have to gamble. And I'm not talking about people that are, if you're in casual leagues or whatever, and people auto-drafted everyone, that, you don't have to do anything. But in leagues like us, right, we're working with piranhas here, sharks. You want to be 10 steps ahead of the game, and you have to know when and when not to gamble. Because the person that's going to take the risk, Mike, you're in business, right? If you didn't take the risk, you'd still be sitting in your bed thinking about if I should have did it.
Of course.
So sometimes you just got to do what Nike says and just do it.
Just do it. And to me, Rashee Rice, though, if you already drafted him, he's like a lottery ticket. You might as well hold on to it right now. You've already invested so much time into him. Don't just give him up for nothing. Like me, if I'm the Rashee Rice manager, I'm not taking Saquon. Unless it's a good deal. Like with a package. But I'm not taking a straight up Saquon. I'm not taking a Derrick Henry. I want to wait and see what to expect here. Because if you need a wide receiver, on the contrary, there's people that need wide receivers. Yeah, Rashee Rice is a good one. So back to Derrick Henry, though. Mm-hmm. I almost see him like a buy low right now, too. Depending on how down somebody is on him, like I might look to scoop him.
Yeah, everything is based off of perspective and depending where you are in the standings.
And your position.
Your position. Like, you're only buying low on Derrick Henry if you're 4-1. You don't give a damn, right? You're stashing him until Lamar comes back or what have you. And then you want him for the playoff run.
Yeah.
But if you're fighting for a playoff spot, no, because right now, like, Derrick Henry this week is a must-sit for me. He's facing the best run defense, in the LA Rams.
I'm not sitting him for nothing.
No, I know. And some people don't have it in them to sit him or don't have the option to sit him. But if you have other options, you go with it. Like, let me ask you a would you rather. Let's do a would you rather.
Go ahead. Derrick Henry.
Would you rather in your RB2, Derrick Henry or David Montgomery?
David Montgomery against the Chiefs, right?
Sunday night.
The reason that I want to say David Montgomery is because, I'd say David Montgomery. Mainly because Derrick Henry doesn't have Lamar right now.
Okay, let's give you a couple more. Derrick Henry or... Can't use this one because they already played. So we're going to go... Okay, I got you. Derrick Henry or Breece Hall, ya boy.
I'm probably going to start Breece Hall because of the receiving capabilities, the PPR. You've been seeing it like... You still get
no Braylon Allen now, so he's going to get majority of the snaps.
That's the problem for Derrick Henry with these next 2 weeks.
9:30 a.m. game.
And then, they got the Rams, and then they got the bye. So these next 2 weeks, Derrick Henry is in the basement. But going forward, then they got Miami, Chicago. These are 2 weak run defenses. And if Lamar is back, I think he's going to be right back to King Henry. We know this guy is not out. First week, 28.7 points. He had 19 opportunities, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. He averaged 9.4 yards a carry in that game.
Final one. Would you rather Derrick Henry, Michael Carter?
Oh, I got to start Derrick Henry there. No way.
Wait, you want to hear what I would do?
Derrick Henry. You would probably start Michael Carter, right?
I'd start Demercado.
You know what?
That was good. That was good. That was
the potential rain game, I'd go Henry over that. You're sick fuck. What about Brian Thomas Jr.? Is he a buy low opportunity right now? He looked a lot better with Trevor Lawrence on Monday.
You know, I offered this trade.
Better.
I offered this trade in our one of my leagues, not our league, one of my keeper leagues, and it was, and I really had to think about it, Mike. Quentin Johnston for Brian Thomas.
Oof.
Straight.
You're getting Brian Thomas?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
If you're the Brian Thomas manager.
No. If I'm Quinshon, I want Brian Thomas.
You want Brian? Yeah. So I have Quentin Johnston.
I would do.
On the Chargers. You know, for me, it was very hard, and even though I know Johnston is hurt, but what made me keep Johnston is, I'm just giving you my reasoning. Obviously, if you compare the two, you would always want Brian Thomas, but Quentin Johnston's having the better season. It's based off going back to that run game. You know, their offensive line's a little banged up. You know, Herbert's going to be throwing a lot.
The ball, yeah.
If you notice, and it's crazy to think, people are on Liam Cohen of the Jacksonville Jaguars for underutilizing Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter. What's their record?
They're 4-1.
Exactly. So basically, he's doing a Rex Ryan. He's basically winning with defense and running the ball. So really, the guy you want in that offense is ETN.
Yes.
And
ETN.
Travis and Trevor Lawrence for matchup pace. But other than that, maybe you want the Cameron Little, the kicker. Because other than that, like, they're built for a real team.
Yeah.
And right now, even though the fantasy community is hating on the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're off to one of their best starts in franchise history.
They look phenomenal.
Have you ever seen the Jacksonville Jaguars 4-1? Even with Lenny over there, but Lenny Fournette and Blake Bortles and Alan Hearns and Allen Robinson. Yeah, I know all those guys.
It's been a long time.
But I just rattled off like 5 guys. But and Jalen Ramsey. So all those guys still didn't start 4-1. So kudos to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's going to take some time, but for right now, they're in winning mode. And a lot of the matchups that are coming up are not really good matchups. Seattle is a top 5 defense. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. scored on them. I mean, I could see BTJ scoring this week.
Yeah, and
but now, like going back to one of my other cases, like if you're needy at receiver, go trade for him.
Yeah.
How about this trade? I have Rashee Rice, and you have Brian Thomas. And would you want Rashee Rice?
I would trade Brian Thomas for
Rashee Rice.
Yeah, if I had Rashee Rice, I wouldn't trade him.
And
for
it's
Brian
got
Thomas.
so bad to this point where I would rather keep Rashee Rice.
And honestly, I just want to go over a couple of stats with Brian Thomas because you mentioned the lack of production. He's only averaging 8 targets a game, but in the first 3 games, he had a 14% catch percentage, 33%, and then 33%. Awful, right? They said he was dropping passes. He was stopping routes, mid-routes, avoiding getting hit, avoiding contact. The last 2 games, he went to a 71% catch percentage and a 67%. And I watched that game Monday Night Football. You could see that his rapport was clicking. Even Travis Hunter had a couple big plays. You could start to see now that Trevor Lawrence is clicking with them a little bit. I have to assume that these catch numbers will go up. Even the yards per catch will go up. Last week was his highest receiving yards all year. He had 80 yards. He had a 33-yard beautiful catch, so that was his longest of the year, I guess, so far. He had also a 46-yard catch 2 games ago. But regardless, Brian Thomas, he might get a lot better, and I would definitely look to buy low if you can.
I will say someone even lower than him. It's his own teammate, Travis Hunter. This is the regime that drafted Travis Hunter. They gave up their capital to move up. So if anything, people want to complain about Brian Thomas. They didn't draft him. That was Doug Peterson and the guys before that just got let go of. They didn't draft him. Their concerns are for Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
So Travis Hunter, down the road, league winner.
It's a really good point, though, what you said. Like, that has a lot to do with it. Like,
look at the Jets with Breece Hall. They could care less unless you're exceptional, like Garrett Wilson, Justin Jefferson. Other than that, anybody could be replaced.
Yeah.
Anybody. I didn't draft you. I have no capital in you. If you suck, I won't lose my job. Wait, the best is out.
One of the last buy low opportunities we wanted to discuss is Mr. George Kittle. George Kittle, you know, has been sidelined with the hamstring injury, but he was drafted to be an elite tight end. If you most likely have him on your bench right now in your IR, personally, I wouldn't get rid of him. I have him in the league. Unless you offer me the Dickens for him, I'm not giving him for nothing. I'll tell you right now, because this man is going to come out.
Trade him for Rashee Rice?
And he's going to explode. Trade Kittle for Rashee Rice. The thing is that's where it gets sticky because of the position, the neediness of the position. Yeah. Now, let's say you were able to snag Jake Ferguson as your second tight end in the draft, or if you picked up Kincaid
or Waller,
or even Darren Waller, maybe. But his injuries scare me.
Waller.
Yeah, his injuries.
You know what?
If you're in a wide receiver needy position, because of re-injury, I wouldn't mind.
And you know what? I'm going to give you a little
push. But you have to have a good back.
I'm going to give you a little pushback on this. George Kittle, I want no part of.
Because of the risk of re-injury?
I think that Levi Stadium was built on an ancient burial ground. Everybody there gets hurt.
Clearly.
So, no, I do not want him. So, for me, it's like he'll just re-injure himself because he is very injury-prone.
The hamstrings, man.
So, I have to go with... I'd rather take the guy that was suspended. At least he's not injured. He's just was suspended. So I was always taught never inherit someone else's problem. So, I mean, yeah, if you're, again, a winning squad, 4-1, yada, 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 5-0, sure, be my guest. But me, I'm staying away.
So you'd be more confident on a buy low opportunity for Rashee Rice than for George Kittle, right?
Correct.
Despite
the position scarcity of tight end, yes, because I could go out there and make a cheaper offer for a Hunter Henry. I could make a cheaper offer for Darren Waller before he pops off even more. George Kittle is George Kittle, the name. People came into this season drafting him as their number one tight end when I was drafting Tyler Warren. How's that working out for everybody? So for me, if you could get someone that's not knowledgeable and say, hey, look, I'll give you George Kittle and a running back for Tyler Warren, I would go run and take Tyler Warren. So it's all based upon need.
Len, clip it. That's a reel. That's a good take. And I'll tell you right now, if you have George Kittle, regardless, be patient. Be patient. Don't just take any offer, because I think that
be patient. Just like the people in the urgent care.
I have him in the waiting room right now, where I'm just waiting to get my tight end back. I do have Tonjes as the backup right now.
Love him. Love Jake the Snake.
Him in there, because it's almost like when Kittle's back, I can put him to the side. It's like a little.
Yeah, I lost
the insurance.
I lost last week in our league, but you do got to give me credit for adding him and playing him that Thursday night game.
Oh yeah, great game.
17 points off the wire.
Great play. And honestly, I think everybody was going nuts. Everyone was like, oh, I wish I played Kendrick Bourne, or I wish I played Mac Jones. You played Tonjes. I think that was a great. So is it Tongs or Tonjes?
Tonjes, I think. Tonjes.
Jake Tongs.
Tongs.
I heard someone say Tongs. I heard someone say Tonjes.
I say Tonjes.
Anyway, let's get into our starts of the week. Want me to lead it off? I will. My number one start of the week is our man Rico Dowdle, a.k.a. Rico Suave, like Mr. Puma over here.
I like that.
Now, listen, Rico Dowdle goes back. If you picked him up off the waiver wire, you're lucky. He goes back to Dallas. Big revenge game. Chuba Hubbard, again, sitting out for the second week in a row. He'll be sitting out week 6. Rico Dowdle goes back to Dallas. Dallas run defense, 28th in the NFL. So the Dallas run defense is 28th in the NFL. Awful defense. Last week, he scored 32.4 full PPR points. 23 carries, 206 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 3 receptions. You're going to see a lot more of this week. These players, when they're angry and they're motivated, this is when they shine. I think Rico Dowdle is a smash play. Get him into your lineup. This is a waiver wire wonder right here.
I like that. Great take. I love that pick, Mike. I think the revenge narrative, just like how we had DK, earlier in the year, week 1. I think this is a smash play, especially he's shown you he could tote the rock this past week. I think it's an excellent play. I mean, he's going to be in my DFS lineups. Rico anytime touchdown. Maybe sneaking a little like Xavier, like get in there.
You'd love that. Double dip. You get the fantasy points plus the parlay.
Yeah.
Hey, you did.
I love a little fried chicken. Anyway, as we move on to the Puma from LA to New York, they know who I am. My start of the week is Jacory Croskey Merritt, a.k.a. Little Bill, for the Washington Commanders. He is playing Monday night against the Chicago Bears, who are the second worst run D funnel. I mean, don't let the 47% snaps scare you about Little Bill. They're just working him in. He blew out. He had a breakout game this past weekend against the Chargers, who weren't giving up much to the running back. So he is on the scene now. He is being utilized, and he is going to break out in a major way, having that RB leadership role in the backfield. Our friend Debo is a little injured right now, and with Terry McLaurin already been ruled out, this spells for a Jacory Croskey coming out party. I mean, even the workload he was getting reception-wise was fantastic. And how many attempts did he have? 14. So it wasn't too crazy, but he did have 2 touchdowns and 2 receptions. They're going to be working him in more. Trust me. Take him.
Yeah, he averaged 7.9 yards a carry last game.
Little Bill.
111 yards. This is where you see the explosion. I mean, God damn, Bill Croskey. We've been waiting for you, my friend.
Yeah, and you know what? Little Bill came on the scene preseason game Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. You see the theme I'm going with?
Yeah.
So we're going to go Monday night against the Chicago Bears. The Bears are dying to give it up like they gave up that Hail Mary a year ago.
Oh, yeah, man. Their run defense, I feel like you could just go all over them. Pause.
Yeah, I feel like there's a pause for like everything you say nowadays. But yeah, man, I mean, he is PFF's top rated RB. Great matchups across the board, especially this week. I think he's going to explode with the workload that he's going to be getting. And again, Mike and I said it 2 weeks ago, you just got to wait on these young guys. Opportunity is number one. And that their breakout's coming soon because you see the snap percentage just going up every week. So you see a 10, 20% snap percentage go up every week. It's telling you they're getting more into the game, they're understanding the playbook more, and they know what's being asked of them. So Little Bill is my start of the week.
Opportunity is everything.
King.
Pay attention to opportunities and get the ones that got the most of them. So that'll do it, man. Puma, you want to take us out?
Yeah, man. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. We're here. We're waiting for you. Send us your questions, right? I'll give you the answer. Mike will give you the answer. I know some of you get a little rowdy there on the socials, but it's okay. We like that.
We've given so much good start-sit advice, and and even the guys that we've predicted. Me and Puma were going over it. We have to make a video collage of all the guys that we talked about at the beginning of the year, like the AJ Brown one, how he was sleeping with the fishes. TO vibes. Did you hear this new news? We'll get into that.
Yeah,
but dude.
Yeah.
You like
did I not nail that on
that one specifically?
Wait, when
was
that?
Man.
When did we call that?
Oh, dude, that was
the first week of March.
Yeah, March. And he's already giving problems. My point is, he's right. We've been given good things. We're back. We're in it. Hopefully, we got more information coming to you. Len, how you doing back there?
Very good.
My man.
And he speaks. Wait. Also, tell your friends, your mother, your father, everybody you know.
Yeah. Share this video, please.
Yeah. Exactly. Jesus.
Thank you for being with us, Fantasy Wise Guys.
It's the Fantasy Wise Guys. I'm Puma.
Mike Meals.
Master your game.